The Blind Seer of Lingxi Village. A chilling tale told through the eyes of a survivor. Part 1. The Arrival. I still remember the first time I set foot in Lingxi Village, nestled deep within the mist-covered mountains of Sichuan. The air was thick with moisture and superstition, and even the crows seemed reluctant to call out. I was just a traveler then, curious, naive, seeking the forgotten corners of old China. But what I found there, what I witnessed, has never left my dreams. The villagers warned me not to stay past dusk. They spoke in hushed tones about a blind fortune teller who lived near the edge of the forest, a man called Master Yao, once revered by all, now feared like a curse. They said he could see more clearly than anyone with sight, that his blindness was not a loss but an offering. And every night, someone left food at his door, even though no one had dared to speak to him in years. That night, as the sun bled out behind the hills, I saw him for the first time, tall, gaunt, with long white hair tangled like spider silk, standing still beneath the banyan tree. His eyes were clouded, milky, yet when his head turned toward me, I felt as though he was staring directly into my soul. "Traveler," he said softly, his voice a whisper that chilled my spine, "you carry the scent of death." I tried to laugh, but my throat was dry. The villagers had told me he was blind. How could he know I was there? Or that I had come from a town where a woman had recently died, strangled by her husband. Part 2. The Curse Beneath the Moon. That night, I stayed at the inn. The owner's wife, Madame Wei, refused to speak once darkness fell. She locked every window and burned incense until the smoke turned the air blue. Through the thin paper walls, I could hear murmurs, villagers whispering about something they called the debt of the dead. Near midnight, I couldn't sleep. I heard footsteps outside my room, soft and dragging. The sound moved past my door, stopped, then turned back. My heart pounded. Slowly, I peeked through the crack. It was Master Yao. He stood in the hallway, barefoot, his face tilted upward as though sniffing the air. In his hands, he held a small wooden effigy, a man with his eyes gouged out and his mouth sewn shut. I froze as he began to hum an eerie tune, each note trembling like a dying breath. Then he whispered, "Tonight she walks again." Before I could move, he turned and vanished into the mist outside. The next morning, they found Madame Wei's husband hanging from the banyan tree, his eyes missing, his mouth crudely stitched closed. The villagers said it was suicide, but when they cut him down, his body was still warm, and his hands bore long scratches, as if he had fought something that wasn't there. Part 3. The Secrets of the Blind Seer. I could have left then. I should have. But the look on Master Yao's face haunted me. That blind stare, filled with both sorrow and knowing. I sought him out the next day, following the trail to his hut by the river. The place stank of damp earth and old incense. Charms made of bones and feathers hung from the beams, swaying as if breathing. When I entered, he was sitting before a cracked mirror, though what need had a blind man for reflection? "You shouldn't have come," he said without turning. "I need to know," I replied. "What's happening in this village?" He sighed, his fingers tracing invisible lines in the air. "Every soul here owes a debt. Years ago, they killed a woman, accused her of witchcraft because her husband, the village chief, died mysteriously. They burned her alive at the riverbank. Her name was Mei Hua. I was the one who read her fortune before she died." He turned his face toward me, the white of his eyes gleaming. "She cursed us, said she would return through the eyes of those who wronged her. The night she burned, my sight vanished, and her voice began whispering from the smoke. I wanted to leave, but the air grew heavy. From somewhere deep in the hut came the sound of dripping water, though the floor was dry. Then I saw them, dozens of paper effigies lining the walls, each marked with names written in red ink. One name caught my eye, Madame Wei. She was next, Yao said quietly. The curse follows the chain of betrayal. Husband kills wife, Wife deceives husband, blood answers blood. Then he smiled, a slow, crooked smile that chilled me to my bones. And soon, it will be your turn, traveler. Part 4. The Night of the Red River. By the time I stumbled back to the inn, the village was silent. Even the dogs didn't bark. The moon hung low, swollen and red, casting the river in the color of blood. I tried to pack my things, but when I opened my door, something lay on the floor, a paper doll identical to the one Master Yao had held, with my name scrawled across its chest. That was when I heard her. A woman's voice, faint at first, like wind through reeds. Then clearer, angrier. You watched him die, and you did nothing. I spun around. The room was empty, yet the shadows seemed to move, sliding across the walls like smoke. The air turned cold enough to bite. I backed toward the door, but it wouldn't open. The voice grew louder, closer. Your silence fed the flames, she hissed. Now you will see what it's like to burn. The lamp shattered. Darkness swallowed the room. I screamed, and then I saw her. A figure wreathed in ash and flame. Her skin cracked like burned porcelain, eyes black and empty. Her mouth opened wider than humanly possible, and from it poured smoke that smelled of blood and sorrow. I remember collapsing, choking, as her hand reached toward my face. The last thing I saw before the world went black was her eyes, two burning coals reflecting the blind man's sorrow. Part 5. The Last Prophecy. When I awoke, I was lying by the riverbank, the dawn pale and gray. The villagers stood around me, whispering. Some crossed themselves. Others spat and turned away. Master Yao was gone. They said his hut had burned down during the night. No one dared to put out the fire. In the ashes, they found 2 bodies. One of a man, the other unrecognizable, clutching a cracked mirror. I tried to tell them what I'd seen, but my voice came out hoarse, my throat raw from smoke. They carried me to the edge of the village and left me there, muttering that I had been touched by the curse. It's been years since that night. I've traveled far, but I still hear her whispers when the wind blows from the east. Sometimes, I wake to the sound of dripping water and find my mirror fogged, though there's no breath near it. And sometimes, when I close my eyes, I see him, Master Yao, standing by the Red River, his blind gaze fixed upon me. He speaks the same words he said the night we met. You carry the scent of death. Epilogue. They say the new chief of Lingxi Village rebuilt the shrine by the river, hoping to cleanse the curse. But every year, on the night of the red moon, someone disappears. And if you ever find a paper effigy with your name on it, do not burn it. Do not bury it. Run, because once the blind seer has seen you, even without eyes, your soul already belongs to Lingxi.